Welcome back to episode 55 of the Jiu Jitsu Dummies Podcast, everybody. We're sponsored by Fightback CBD. Get 20% off your CBD order at fightbackcbd.com with code JJD. We're also sponsored by Black Belt Graphic Design. I got my awesome shirt that they gave me and my new water bottle.
Nice.
You get a dedicated graphic designer and up to 10 designs each month for just $249 per month. Anything you need, from logos to PowerPoint presentations, Facebook cover photos, anything you need, they do it. These guys are the company behind everything that we do social media-wise. So you've been seeing their stuff on our Instagram and our Facebook. So check them out. They do incredible work. The website is blackbeltgraphicdesign.com. It's worth every penny. All right?
Yeah, I'll tell you, they're good. They're very nice. Very good stuff.
Good stuff, right?
And I'm a graphic designer, so I shouldn't.
My name is Milton Campus. I am now a brown belt. Woo woo. Just got promoted. I train down here in South Florida. You can check me out on Instagram at Uncle Milty BJJ or at Jiu Jitsu Dummies. I monitor both of the accounts. Bo behind the camera.
Bo behind the camera.
What's up, Bo? How you doing, brother?
How are you?
Good. And our guest today, Erin Harpe and her husband, Luis Mata. Welcome, guys. How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Don't want to keep you waiting too long. How's everything going, guys?
Good. And congrats on your brown belt.
Thank you very much. Yeah, now I really got the work starts now, you know?
Yeah.
Now you in it.
Now I think it's getting real serious now in brown belt, you know, so this is real now.
Absolutely. And now it's just time. Like purple belt's kind of like the best belt, and then now brown belt's kind of like
I've already, in my mind, I'm already like, got to go train more. I got to earn this. Like, the expectations are higher. So I'm already like, I would go solid 3 days a week, go to the gym, maybe an open mat. Now I'm like 4 or 5 days, got to do it on top of everything else that I do. So happy and excited though. It's very cool.
Absolutely. And then when you get your black belt, it's just a restart button.
Yeah. I feel that a little bit now. I'm like, yeah, wow. I feel how the black belts are rolling harder with me already. I'm like, okay, they waited. They were nice to me. They were being nice. You know? And now they're letting out all these little secrets that they weren't telling me before. So now I'm like, you were holding back. I get it. So you guys are the owners of Gracie Apollo Beach, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Do they also say like Tampa, like Gracie Tampa? I know when I see you fight, Erin, they say Gracie Tampa. It's Gracie Apollo Beach.
Yeah. Well, so we're both under Matt Arroyo, under Gracie Tampa South. That's the Gracie Tampa network with Rob Kahn. So like I'm a fighter under there, but we're co-owners of
Gracie Apollo Beach.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. You mentioned Matt Arroyo, UFC veteran. Does he still fight?
No.
Retired?
Yeah, he's too old too.
But he's doing good. He's got fighters in the UFC, Billy Q, Matt Favola. So like he's coaching them as well as Aaron. He's going a lot.
Yeah.
He's got hands busy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I remember him from one of the early Ultimate Fighters, right? Was he on Tough?
Yeah.
I remember him.
Way back when. I think it was like Tough 7 or 8.
Yeah, it was one of the beginning ones. It was this is like 15 years now. He's
it's awesome.
done that.
So Erin, you fight and you fought in Invicta. Are you still fighting in Invicta?
Yes, I definitely want to get back into MMA. Just this year, it's been huge opportunities for pro jiu-jitsu grapplers, especially with Who's Number One.
Yeah.
And that was my main thing with MMA. I was like chasing money. But my heart is always in jiu-jitsu. So now there's more opportunities. I've been more on the jiu-jitsu mat than the cage, but I'm definitely going to be back into MMA very soon.
Isn't this amazing? I feel like this is an amazing time to be a jiu-jitsu practitioner and a competitor. WNO and everything that Fight to Win is doing. It's like, I can make some money. This is a profession now. You can be a professional jiu-jitsu competitor and actually make some money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even on the local scenes,
right?
Like even like the lesser known like submission, under pro. Even like I heard submission grappling series is paying guys out. So like that was unheard of like 5 years ago. You know that?
Yeah.
That was like, what? We're getting paid? What? Nah, we're just grappling.
I just got the Flow Grappling app last year. Like, so I was training. UFC fan, boxing fan first, then found the UFC in the early 2000s because of some roommates that I had were like, you haven't seen this cage fighting stuff? Started to become a fan, always like hit the punching bag, did a little kickboxing, just, kind of like on the side. And then I found jiu-jitsu. It was just like, I got to understand this. It's like not something I could do by myself. Friend of the family opened a gym. The rest is history. Like I'm 7-8 years later. So, but yeah, even just a couple years ago, it didn't feel like it was like this. It just wasn't. You might get a couple of bucks to go out, but you had to be super active, travel a lot, stay on the road, right, in order to really make money. And it's just not like that now, right?
Yeah. We're super grateful for all these opportunities, especially for female grapplers now too. There was never cash money for like absolutes or super fights for women, and now you see more and more girls competing and getting those accolades that men get now. It's awesome.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit. You just did the WNO. What did they call that? Was it a championship series, or I forget the exact name of it?
Yeah. It was the number one championship. You are correct.
Okay. So something like that comes around. Now we had Kendall Roosing on the show a few episodes back, and we were talking about women in jiu-jitsu and kind of like the weight, the brackets or the weight categories. Is that changing? I mean, because there was this huge was it Amanda Levy kind of that took a shot at Gabby Garcia because of the weight? Like you could have fought her in this, right? You could have matched up with her. I mean, if I'm 230 and guys that are 175 in my gym complain about rolling with me, like, oh, you're too big. Come on, there's a huge weight discrepancy between somebody like Gabby and really the rest of the field. Is that changing? Is it going to change? Like you're in it. What do people say to you about it?
So I talked to Hollywood Mike, the promoter, and I asked him after the tournament. I was like, "Are you opening up more divisions? Because 145 and up is not heavyweight for women. That's not. That's an open class. Like MMA 145 is featherweight, whether you're a male or female. Like, it's not heavyweight. So he said that they're going to be opening up a featherweight division 145. So I'm super excited about that. But on the flip side, I don't know, maybe because like my dad embedded this kill or be killed traditional samurai chick. But I always think of it as a self-defense situation. I can have a big dude attack me and I can't complain about his size or his stature or weight. And we applaud and praise jiu-jitsu for being a lot about leverage and technique. So, it always sucks going against people bigger, but on the flip side, whether win, lose, or draw, you're practicing to defend yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah. I feel like, when we talked to Kendall about it, she was talking about ADCC. I feel like if they start to make some moves, then the other organizations are kind of forced to make those same moves.
Correct.
Right.
And more women will come out because I know a lot of girls, like for instance, with ADCC, it's 130 and under and 130 and up. I know so many girls that fall in that 130 to 160. Right. That's insane.
And how many divisions do you have for guys?
Right.
Yeah.
So there's
it's not a lack of competitors. That's just
no.
But that's what they were saying. That's what they were saying, right?
Right.
It's there's not enough competitors, and I'm sorry, but even like you put Gabby Garcia, people know that Gabby Garcia is fighting, you have a lot of people that are just going to drop off. They're like, I'm not going to let her lay on top of me, and I'm going to look like a fool. Yeah.
And for instance, the Who's Number One championship, for instance, my division had 4 girls that can make 145
easily.
That's literally half of the heavyweight division. So like you said, it's not a lack of quantity. We have enough now, so hopefully there'll be a little bit of turning point, and we still don't know how much Gabby weighs. So
I didn't see the full news conference. Did Amanda just kind of call her out? Is it because did you guys have to weigh in to show that you were over?
Pre-story. So we're all having to sit together at weigh-ins, and I'm always super respectful to opponents. I'm always gonna be the first one to shake your hand, say thank you for his experience and stuff. So we're all wondering where Gabby's at, and Elizabeth Clay said, watch her not show up to weigh-ins, because she didn't show up to my weigh-ins either. She only shows up to the press conference. So I guess this is a normal thing for Gabby not showing up to weigh-ins. And my thing is like, it's not a secret that you're big. Like, I don't know what you're trying to hide.
So for like full disclosure, you guys have to weigh in to show that you're over the mark, but because it's unlimited, right? Is it 140? You say 145 and above? She doesn't really have to weigh in. It doesn't matter what she weighs because it's 145 and
right. I
and
think
whatever.
That's what they're thinking. But all of us were in our contract. We show up to weigh-ins. All of us.
It's part of the promo, not just the weight, but the promo.
Like every single girl except for her didn't show up, and all the guys in the division showed up to the weigh-ins too, heavyweight included. So of course she shows up right when the press conference starts, literally right when it begins. And Amanda calls her out. She's like, why didn't you have to show up to weigh-ins? And they kind of go back and forth. She's like, it's not in my contract. And then Gabby goes, when you won enough titles that I've won, you can do what you want, which is a complete disrespect. Anyway, but karma bit her right in the ass the next day.
Wow. From the girl who called her out too, right? That was even better. Hey, real quick, Luis, let's get you into the picture a little bit. You're kind of fading out. Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't worry. My wife does that to me too. She nudges me out, just pushes me over. I'm just kidding. So okay. So let's take a step back. Let's talk about how you guys found jiu-jitsu and found each other. Did you find it? You guys met in, I'm assuming, in this world, right? So let's go back. Erin, tell me about how you found jiu-jitsu. Luis, you'll tell us as well. Tell me how you found jiu-jitsu. I know a little bit, but let's tell the audience, how you became an MMA and a jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Awesome. So I didn't find it. I was forced to do it. Let's full disclosure on that. My dad started in '93, a year before I was born. So literally, right, my earliest memory on the mat is like 3-4 years old, literally playing with my dolls and toys on the mat. But grew up with my dad. I hated jiu-jitsu growing up. Like, I thought it was the biggest chore. And, my dad's very traditional, and he's a militant too. Yeah. So he pushed training on me and competition too. So during
strong.
Yeah.
Right?
So during high school, I took some time off. I, ventured into other sports like soccer and track. And then when I started going to school in Brooklyn, my first year of college, around the corner from the college was a jiu-jitsu gym. And I kind of was like, oh, let me give this a shot. And then I kind of fell in love with it. And as a kid, I always had a dream of being an MMA fighter. I wanted to be the first girl in the UFC. Like, that was my goal as a little kid. And when I re-ventured into jiu-jitsu and, relit that dream at like 18, 19, my dad knew he didn't have the tools to teach me and to get me far. And I wanted to stay under the Hoist Gracie flag lineage. So it was either going to be moving to Florida with Gracie Tampa or move to Arizona with John Crouch at the MMA lab. And I chose Florida because it was closer. I'm from Connecticut, Massachusetts area.
Okay. So you said Brooklyn. How'd you wind up in Brooklyn? You were going to college in Brooklyn?
Yeah. Okay. Just for a year.
I'm a Long Island boy. I'm a New Yorker. So I grew up on Long Island. So New York.
Nice. Very cool. Heck yeah. And then the rest is pretty much history. I moved. I packed my car. My mom helped me out as far as moving down here.
It took off. You didn't want that cold.
So I'm just gonna say, if I was your dad, I would be like, I couldn't get you to do jiu-jitsu, or you didn't want to do jiu-jitsu, and now you want to get punched in the face. You want to be the first girl in the UFC. I'm like, what? Come on. I can't. I have two daughters. One is 27. One is 17. And the 17-year-old wants nothing to do with jiu-jitsu. Never been able to get any of my girls to train. My wife doesn't want to train. She does a little kickboxing, but she doesn't want to train jiu-jitsu. So it's always this like, come on, just please let me show you. Come on. I'm a brown belt now. Come on.
I know.
It's not hurt. It won't hurt you.
Exactly. Yeah, it'll only help.
So Luis, tell us about your journey. How did you find jiu-jitsu?
I wasn't forced. That's for sure. I wasn't. So I started around 15, 16 years old. The same like you. I was introduced to martial arts at a young age. I was like doing karate. And then I transitioned to, like, kids. I was doing karate and stuff like that. Then I transitioned to boxing, teenage years. And then from there, I was, my uncle kind of influenced me and told me, he was like, yo, you know who the Gracies are? And I was like, who are those? Some chicks? Oh, okay, cool. I don't want to train with some girls. He was like, nah. Go look up the Gracies. And then I got together with, like Erin said, my first instructor was Ryan Dykart. He was real traditional, and he was like trained with hoist and did all that. He was real like academy traditional. So everything I did was real self-defense. And then just like her, I wanted to venture in MMA, and we had Gracie Tampa here, Matt Arroyo, Rob Kahn, and stuff like that. So I was kind of venturing here and there and training up until purple belt, and then Erin like strolls in, and we kind of met training on the mat. So she's like, yo, I'm training at Gracie Tampa. And that was it. That was like my little sneak in,
I brought him to Gracie Tampa. Usually you hear the guy brings a girl.
Yeah, no. She almost like broke my foot too. I didn't know who this chick was. I'm like,
oh yeah. So to the story of how we met, the first year of me being here, I would train everywhere, and he was training at Ybor City Jiu Jitsu at the time, and they have they used to before COVID all kind of ruined it, but they had a common ground open mat on Sundays where people from all over, all gyms all over would come and cross train together.
Sometimes people from Brazil, some people from it would be everywhere,
out of state, you'd love it. It was pretty dope. For 4 hours straight of training. And then we met at one of those open mats. I was a blue belt at the time. He was a purple. And he asked to roll. I was like, sure. And of course, I wanted to see if I could beat him up. Because there's my thing. I'm not going to date anyone that I could beat up. My dad has embedded that in my head. Like, you're not going to defend you and your boyfriend. Like, that's not going to work. So,
what if I get tired?
No. Anyway, so right when we hit hands, I fall for an ankle lock right away because I'm just 19 and super competitive. and I saw that he was like trying to go easy with me too. And then after that, he just like beat the crap out of me, like positionally wise. So I was like, okay, he can defend me too. That's fine. And 3 months later, he asked me out on a date, and that was it.
Yeah, you got to be sure when someone breaks you off like that.
So how long have you guys been together now?
A little over 7 years.
Yeah. Oh wow! All right, so we're going.
Yeah, just got married this year.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
I'm 2 years. December's 2 years for me. I've been married.
Hey.
My first marriage, I was a young dad. Didn't get married, but then waited till I was 46, 47 to get married.
Been married for 22.
Yeah. Everybody told me to do it once. Everybody said you should do it at least once. So I figured I'd wait.
There's no manual on life. So.
Yeah.
My parents were together forever. Never got married.
Yeah. So when you guys in the gym, because I always like to understand like the dynamics between, especially when people are married, in the gym, do you guys roll with it? Do you guys train with each other?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I know married couples that like, we're not going to roll because it gets bad, or she's going to get mad at me for doing this. He's going to get mad at me for doing that. So do you guys train together actively? And
absolutely.
And don't get me wrong. There's been times where we have like get the hell off of me, get away from me.
When we were younger, it would happen more.
Yeah.
Now really not so much, and we treat each other like training partners. You know? Like just trying to help each other out.
Yeah.
There'll be times where we get frustrated every now and then, but nothing serious.
So what happens if you're at home, fights happen, you're mad at each other, and then you have to go to the gym? Will you guys avoid each other? Like, will you not roll with each other?
Roll together. If we're upset, we probably wouldn't roll. We'll probably save it for
just
another
hang
day.
out. Yeah. We get more. I think if we get fight we get into a fight at the house, we kind of more stand like, all right, that's it, timeout.
Yeah.
Don't come near me, and that's about it. And then we'll probably.
And we never bring it into the gym either.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had times where I'll be like, yo, you want to roll, and that'll actually de-escalate our little argument that we had at the house. So it's a different. Whatever. Yeah, and then we're messing around. I'm trying to, she's like, yeah, whatever, you ain't get me in that, and it kind of de-escalates that.
Yeah.
So jiu-jitsu kind of helps us in that kind of aspect where, like you said, some people are like, they treat it for their time, like jiu-jitsu's mine. You piss me off at the house, so I'm going to have my rolling time, and I understand that. I definitely do. But like Erin said, we've been together so long that now we're just like, we're training, motherfucker. You got to train. You got to we're both black belts. Let's go.
So let's go back to the MMA stuff, Erin. Let's talk a little bit about what is with everything that's going on in the jiu-jitsu world, are you still going to focus on MMA? Is this like, do you have time for both? What's the plan going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've always been horrible at balancing both. Like, I can be completely honest in that, because I literally dive 1,000%, into whatever I have coming up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, MMA is not over. I'm still with Invicta FC. I'm still contracted with them. I was hoping the end of this year or beginning of next year. I am going to be fighting in a different weight class. I am going to fight at 145 instead of 35, just so I can stay at a more natural weight and it's a more healthy cut.
She's so damn stronger.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we're learning that more and more now, especially like, I follow the UFC more than anything. Everybody's realizing that why am I cutting? I go in weaker. I think I'm going to be stronger. I'm not. I'm actually hurting my performance. Let me stay at my walking around weight.
Yeah, exactly. And I walk around at like 157, 160 around there. So going to 145 is no big. Easy, right? And especially with women, we train with mostly guys. So what's the point of me cutting weight for someone smaller when my body's already used to going against people that are bigger and stronger.
So we're going to come back and talk about that in a second. Let me just do some shout outs here to our sponsors, guys. So bear with me. We want to thank DD214 Fightwear at DD214_Fightwear. Gear for the war on PTSD. Get 15% off your online order at DD214BJJ.com. Shout out to our boy Nick over at Warriors Next Adventure. He just had cancer surgery. We talk about it in the interview with TJ from We Defy. So congrats. I'm glad that you're feeling better. We're going to call him Lefty now, if you know what I mean. And we love you, Nick. We love all you do for the gym. Yes, I did. I said it.
That just fucking hit me.
We love you, Nick, and everything that you're doing for the veteran community. So
get well
big
soon,
shout outs.
Bro.
Get well soon. Huge shout out to Flow and Roll. I think you know Sean from Flow and Roll, right, Aaron?
Yeah,
are you guys?
Yes. We're actually wearing the shirts.
All right. Yeah, he's one of our biggest supporters. We love him. He's been a sponsor of the show for well over a year. I think almost the entire time we've been doing the podcast, pretty close to the beginning. He's always done something with us. So we love him. Check him out at flow_n_roll on Instagram. Get 20% off your online t-shirt, rash guard, or gi order with code JJD at flowandroll.com. And I always tell everybody, check out their Instagram. He's already showing his gear for next year, but they do incredible custom work, which is what he does for you guys. Right, I'll customize something for you, Jim. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share wherever you're watching or listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to click the bell. And you get notifications each time we launch new videos. All right? So thank you guys for sticking with us. All right, let's talk about what I know was a hot button issue when we first spoke, Erin. I know we want to you were going to come down. By the way, you were going to come down. Car broke down, right? You had a car issue. I canceled last week's episode because my car broke down. My battery died. I thought it was the starter. I couldn't get here, so it happens. I know. So we had to cancel last week's episode with the guests that we're going to rebook. So been there. But one of the things that we wanted to talk about were the kind of recent allegations or issues within the jiu-jitsu community, specifically things that happen with fight sports and the sexual assault allegations. Where does this leave us? Just because it's like out of the news cycle doesn't mean it's not here. It's not still happening. What are your thoughts? What do you have to say to young girls out there that are training and their parents? So I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. So lately we've been really being transparent with our students about the all these allegations, because most of them don't even know about it.
Yeah,
so we start home first. So being completely transparent with our students, always week to week, being open and making sure that our academy is a safe space for people to come to talk to us. But I'm just completely baffled, honestly, that most high-level competitors aren't speaking up about this, and people are still taking pictures with Cyborg and Wagner and Maggie like nothing happened, or that they didn't have close relations into like the involvement of this conflict. So silence causes more harm than good. And hopefully, especially with the help of this podcast and others, if we keep on talking about this, more people will be aware, because I'm sure a lot of people still don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you followed what happened here. I trained at Fight Sports Coral Springs in South Florida, about an hour away from the Miami location. We have never had an issue at our gym that I've ever been aware of, or with my coaches. I have a husband-wife team as well. I don't know if you know Felipe and Sofia Amarante. They're incredible. Yeah. I love them to death. But I had to come out. I couldn't walk into a Fight Sports gym and train knowing what I know, being the father of 2 girls, having a family member that has been a victim of sexual assault. Exactly. How am I going to look at these people in the face and say that I'm going to support something like this? So it was never about my gym, but it was about the system. And again, it was, being able to look my family in the face and say, they would have probably never heard of it, had never heard anything about this because they're not in the jiu-jitsu world. But I knew my conscience wasn't going to let me. And one of my co-hosts, Miguel, we went online. We did a video. He had just gone from my gym because he moved. He went from my gym in Coral Springs down to Wagner's, down to VRMA. And, he saw Marcel in the gym, and he didn't know anybody. He didn't know. But then when it all came out, he's like, I saw this. He had 2 kids training in the gym. His daughter, Miguel, has a son and daughter that train and love it. And he just, I can't go back. How am I going to talk to my wife? And as she's learning, as I'm telling her what's going on, he's like, I can't go back. So we both took a step back. I called my coach. I don't know if I've really gone into this specifically, but I called my coach on Facebook because he was in Brazil on vacation. And I said, listen, I'm about to put out this statement. I want you to be the first to know. And he was like, Milt, you do, I explained to him why. And he said, Milton, you do exactly what you feel you need to do. And at that point, I already knew that he was going to take steps to step away from Fight Sports as well. We've changed the school's changed names. He's gone out basically on his own. I guess we would say we're like unaffiliated right now. And I was very happy that he did that. I knew before I put out our statement that he was going to do that. So when I put out the statement, I didn't let him do. I wanted him to do it. Let him, make his own announcements or what have you. So we stepped away. We made our announcement, and then, nothing but support. I don't think the only negative comments I saw were people that were fighting, maybe like in the chats and in the comment sections, but nobody. Look, everybody has. I've taken no shots at anybody that's decided to stay, but I feel the same way that you do, Erin. That it's very hard. How do you support it? Something happened, but then you supported the person that did it. And you brought that person around, kids, family members, when this person's broken the law. Not only broken the law, but essentially groomed a young girl and then assaulted her. And if you really read the story, at least on the Marcel issue, because there's more than one with Marcel. He's giving her alcohol, and then he's raping her. So we have. I don't want to say we're at the forefront, but we've got a decent sized podcast now. We've got a good following. I'm not a competitor. I'm not, a face in jiu-jitsu. Nobody knows who the hell I am. Why are more people not coming out and saying things? It really bothers me. to the point where I've even had conversations with some people that came to me and said, man, you really feel like you should have come out like that? And I was like, yeah, I stand by what we said. I don't care. If you don't have the balls to come out and say something, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to. Look,
and it doesn't mean it's wrong to either.
No, I don't know.
Like, why is it so bad? I hate that, because I'm always standing up for like the good fight. People are always bashing me for it, and it's just like, wow.
I get this. There's a little thing that I get here. I'm not saying it's right, but I get it. There are a lot of young people in jiu-jitsu. I'm 48. I've got one, 27-year-old daughter. I've got a 17-year-old that's going to school, going away to college next year. I could give a fuck what anybody thinks about what I say. I'm too fucking old to worry about some little kid, some 17-year-old's gonna be like, why are you coming out against Wagner? And this didn't come out against anybody. I came out in favor of doing the right thing and saying I can't support something that's done something like. If somebody did something at a location, okay, great. But what happened in Brazil at the camp? 2 allegations, cover-ups. Like
people
now you want to come. Now you want to come out and say, yeah, that was bad. Okay, I almost understand the Wagner side of it. Again, it's like, Wagner, he let him in the school, but he hasn't been named in like these other things. But to be part of a group that forced a girl to drop charges in Brazil, that I was done at that point. That was like, when I heard that one, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm done. I could say, okay, you messed up and you made a mistake. But when I heard like a group of people forced this girl to drop the charges in Brazil, that's when I was like, I'm out. That's it. Done.
Yeah. There should be no issue. People
and not separating yourself.
Yeah, there should be no issue. People separated. There should be. I don't know why there's an issue, and people are bringing up that that you're separating for your own good. You know what I'm saying? And there's morals here that we all see and realize that are completely fucked up. It's completely wrong.
Yeah.
I think in jiu-jitsu we have a lot of like the superhero syndrome.
Yeah, the night,
and such cult and loyalty falls behind that too.
Absolutely.
And I hate when people sway around the family thing. Like, I was helping Marcel because his son is my godson. Like, I don't give a fuck if they're blood related. Like, if you touch a child, that's it.
So
that's it. You're cut off.
Could have the kids could have trained there, but having Marcel training on the mat behind the counters, which again, my co-host Miguel, he said, I saw this. I was there. Yeah. You can't tell me like when it was first like, oh, he's never been in the gym. And the message, they stepped on their own messaging and saying that it wasn't true. He's like, Milt, I was there. I saw it. He's like, I can't go back. So that's the part, if you could have easily come out and said
there too.
Yeah,
there's no way now.
Hands down. Like, I even had Wagner at a point I was gonna have him do a seminar. Like we're really tight. It's unfortunate this went down. I look up to Wagner. His jiu-jitsu and like what he's done. It's amazing. I can't not say that, about Wagner. But
now he can't understand why he's not getting opportunities.
Yeah, the character he's putting out now it doesn't make sense. You guys all know this.
Counteracting his apology.
No, it just doesn't make sense. And I feel, like now, at one point I'm like, no, I don't feel bad. I'm like, bro, this is something we all need to address.
Yeah.
And there should be no gray area. No. Period. You don't do this with little kids. Period. You don't associate with those motherfuckers. Period. And then Marcel's gone. And no one talks about that. No one's talking about where's Marcel? Where's Marcel?
And the other guy, but just for the record, right? Both.
Yeah, there's two of them. Yeah, they're both gone. You're absolutely right. Yeah. They both bolted as soon as they had that.
But there was a little point in time where I even felt bad for Maggie a little bit because I felt like she was like stuck in a situation. I said I wasn't going to talk about this publicly to her, but since she's back into competing and I've questioned her tears that she was sending me, now I'm going to talk about it. But she sent a message way back in August just thanking me for not outing her out because there was people saying horrible shit, to about her and to her. I'm sure you saw some stuff. Yeah,
I've seen it.
Names were cut through.
If I didn't see it, somebody messaged me. If I didn't see it on my own, I was getting the messages. I was getting more messages than I want. I was like, oh wow, okay, we opened. we came out and said something, and now people wanted to be like, you don't know the half of it. You know about this? Exactly. Did you know about this?
Yeah.
Like, especially this is right after her whole spiel about the OnlyFans, you know, how to not support people and to protect kids from it. So, you know, she voice messaged me and she was crying. She was just like, thank you for not outing me. I really appreciate it. You know, she even said in the message, like, I've never agreed with Cyborg, and most of this stuff happened before I was there, and my man is just looking like a monster right now, and blah blah blah. And I straight up told her, if Lewis put me in the situation, I would be gone. You know, there's some things that you can have differences upon in a relationship, but when it comes to your life morals and children and young girls, there has to be a fine line into that, especially when you're trying to be an empowering role model for
Jiu-jitsu is supposed to be, this is exactly why we're bringing our kids to jiu-jitsu, to martial arts, is so that they have a voice, and they know to speak up and defend themselves, right? Isn't this why we're doing this? You know, especially younger. My daughter, again, is going away to college next year. And I'm like, God, I wish you would just let me show you some, really more towards her mother. I say, I wish she would let me show her some things, because there's going to be that point where there's going to be a boy that slaps her in the ass, or, you know, people are getting drunk, or, you know, somebody slips something in your drink. And I mean, and I want her to be able to protect herself, to know better and to protect herself. And right now she doesn't have those skills. She's an athlete. She runs, but she doesn't have self-defense skills. She likes to punch me in the stomach every once in a while. But I'm like, that's not going to stop a man from attacking you.
And 1 in 3 women are sexually harassed. Yeah. Like, that is a big number. Yeah. You know?
Luis, go ahead. You were going to say something. I think I interrupted you.
Just on the topic of, we were talking about, you know, like women, like how Erin said, like, this is so necessary. We're bringing, like you said, bringing the kids in. And most importantly, you know, we know that jiu-jitsu is an equalizer, and now everybody's becoming, you know, keen on the fact that women can do jiu-jitsu. Women can straight up manhandle you and stuff like that. So they're coming into jiu-jitsu. They're coming into this world, and we got to help them out. And, you know, I play a big role, me and Erin at our gym. You know, we have a huge kids program. You know, our kids have already been Kids Pan Am's champs. We took them to Kids Worlds, all of it, man. We're in it with them. And I've had kids now that have been under me 5-6 years. I'm literally watching them grow up. And to hear what, you know, Marcel.
Just like how Marcel did.
Yeah, to hear what he's done, you know, like.
I know a coach you look at these children like your kids.
Yeah, they're my kids.
With them so long.
I tell them I don't have kids now because I got to worry about you.
I really do.
So you have to question the mentality of somebody who's willing to, you know, you train somebody for 4, 5, 6, even longer.
And abusing their power as an instructor too, regardless if they're a minor or not. You're abusing your
it's not okay.
An instructor has power.
You do. You have, and you have power in your voice. You know what I'm saying? Just right here, just speaking to them. And you've seen it, you know, like in our experience, the parents will come up to me and Erin and be like, yo, can you talk to so-and-so? You know, you guys just say a few things and they're like, oh, all right, I'll get done.
They're more scared sometimes to disappoint coach than they are to disappoint their parents, right? Because they know what they can get away with the parents. I see it in my gym too. Sometimes the kids are like, when Professor Felipe talks to them,
they're like,
oh shit, I fucked up. I can't. I'm going to get in trouble. Don't tell Professor. Versus, you know, it's the old school, like, wait till your dad gets home. Now it's like, wait till I tell Professor.
Yeah. But we have it all the time. You know, I've had my parents come, Coach, can you discipline my students? This is, you know, my kid. This and that. I got you. You know, like you said, they look up to us. They absolutely, and we're giving them a foundation of confidence, of self-discipline, a new outlet, you know. Mm-hmm. And like me, I'm a kid from like West Tampa. I didn't have shit. Jiu-jitsu was everything for me. It literally got me out of fucking the hood, got me a gym, got me so much. That cool girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, so much. But
now what Marcel did and all these other fight sports instructors, they literally took not only their love of jiu-jitsu, but their whole childhood away.
Yeah, the confidence away, you know. Like, unfortunately, You know, I know one of the girls, they don't train anymore. And she was talented. The girl was
She
on
was
everything.
so good.
She was on all these promotions. She could have been right there with Erin on who's number one, this, that. She was there. She was at that level. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't even train no more. You know, and that's what's gonna happen.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you're enjoying the show, please help us thank our sponsor at Fightback CBD. We couldn't do this without them. Head over to their website at fightbackcbd.com. Check out their growing line of CBD products and find the solution that's right for you. That's fightbackcbd.com and get 20% off your purchase with discount code JJD. Also check them out on social media at FightbackCBD. Now back to the show.
So what's the answer? Let's talk about the answer on different levels here. So let's start with the gym level. At the gym level, what should gym owners, professors, and coaches be doing differently inside their gym?
So what we have established in our gym is not only having like our code of ethics with our instructors and like having them sign contracts on it, but also just with students having a same gender policy with private lessons, and with kids always make sure they have a partner. Yep. They're never just working with an instructor or with a coach. I will never teach a man in a private lesson. Lewis will never teach a woman in a private lesson. You know, if you don't have a high level female grappler to be an instructor, find one. There's plenty now, and there's plenty of girls that would love to teach too.
Or you know, like Erin said, you know, if you don't have that that option, right? You have two people there. You know, you don't single yourself out. Don't put yourself in a position now. That's what we have done. I'd never want to be, you know, we have cameras in the gym as well, but you never want to be just alone. You know, we don't want that anymore. You know, if you're doing privates, it's always good to have another person do the private. So coach can be there. Hey, do it this way, do it that way. It's just perfect. Mm-hmm. Then you have someone at your level, not doing it. You know, imagine me, a black belt, me and Erin are 150 plus with 10, 12-year-old kids, even 15-year-old kids. You've seen that have a difficult time with older adults.
Yeah.
So that's what we keep it real traditional in that manner. And, you know, and we really are very transparent. Like, we've had talks about this amongst all our students, you know.
Parents.
Yeah, I've even had talks with
and then we staying connected with them too.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's hard when people have a lot of students. Like we have 130 students at our academy. You know, it's hard to be able to talk to every single parent, but even just staying connected through social media or anything, you know, any questions pop up or any kids feel uncomfortable, you know, we talk to the kids too, always reached out to us. Like, I was so cringed by the Marcel situation. Like, literally the next day I went to like my teen girls. I'm like, if anyone makes you feel uncomfortable, you come talk to me, like, immediately. Like, promise me that, you know. I was so freaked out about it. But later down the road, which I would love to see in the actual jiu-jitsu community, is maybe I know this is a stretch, I doubt this can happen, but maybe like a hotline or organization that wherever gym you train at, if you don't feel comfortable going to your instructor, you know, because they might think their instructor might brush them away, like the situations that happen in Texas when they try to cover it up. So maybe having an organization where girls can go to, and, you know, the organization can do something about it, you know.
So have you guys heard of Safe Sport?
No.
You guys got to check out Safe Sport. So there's an organization that exists in response to what happened to the Olympics gymnastics team. Safesport.us, I believe it's .us, but just Google Safe Sport. And so this organization exists, and it's gone outside of Olympic sports. I found out about it because one of our supporters is a judo black belt and a judo referee, and they're required to take these courses. So Safe Sport, it's very inexpensive, super cheap, and you can have your coaches, staff members, owners can all take these courses. They give it to the parents for free. It helps you recognize, you know, if your child's being groomed, if there's a, coaches doing something. And like you said before, you have your coaches sign a code of ethics. This would take that to another level. You would get certificates, and it trains your coaches and you. So everybody starts to be conscious of what to look out for. I haven't done it myself, so I'm probably not doing it all the justice it deserves, but it exists. And they have the hotline. They have the hotline where you can report something, and it doesn't matter what sport it is. Again, from what I understand, whether it's Little League Baseball or, professional football, you can report to this organization. So, again, it exists. A lot of people didn't know about it. I've posted about it a couple of times, and I was like, this thing is here. It's not the answer to everything, but it's a step in the right direction.
And it's a tool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how do you guys feel about Cyborg came out and officially announced his hotline? What did you read about that?
I think
Did you see that? Did you read about it at all?
Yeah. And in the same one, all gyms have bad apples. No, you have, I'm sorry to swear on here, but you have fucking predators. Those aren't bad apples. They're fucking criminals. Those aren't bad apples.
And it's not I understand, jiu-jitsu is one of those type of martial art. You get that. We're going to have all walks of life. Doctors, thieves, this, that. But we all get it. There's been times that we've been down and out, but there's just some laws you just don't fuck with. And I'm sorry, I teach kids. We love our kids. That's the law you don't fuck with. That's to me, that's that's what, if you believe in God or the universal rules, that's where that's at.
That's what I was going to say. It's not even law. It's not even about law.
I'm sorry, Bo is chiming in.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry.
To me, it's something like that supersedes law. This is all about moral.
This morality,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you need a law to tell you, if you need a law to tell you what's right, that's
So I guess you're not in favor. Well, okay. So I looked at it. I don't want to make a joke about it, but I'm going to say, obviously, by your expression, Erin, when I said that, when I read about it, I said, look, I'm always going to, to a fault, I give people enough rope to hang themselves. I always try to put myself in somebody else's shoes. We've all done things that we regret and damn, I wish I wouldn't have done that or made that decision or been in this place. Yep. So I look at it and I go, I understand and I can respect that you're trying to fix this, but understand, and I say this directly to Cyborg as somebody who is a student of one of his, I don't know, I believe he gave him his black belt. So I'm learning my jiu-jitsu from Felipe. As somebody who is part of your lineage, whether I like it or not, you're not the solution. You're not the solution. You are credited with covering up. You can't now. Now, when I read it, it said there'd be an advisory board, so somebody could call in, report something to this hotline. It's an outside company, but then they would report it to a group, including Cyborg, Maggie, and other people. All from fight sports.
Yep.
No, that's the wrong answer. That's not the right answer.
That you are not trusted.
Okay. So let's say we want to let him gain back the trust. Safe sport. Or find another organization where you are not part of that. Right. The problem here is that you were part of the cover up.
Exactly.
But let's let the Marcel one go for a second. But go back to Brazil and what happened there. And it's been said that you and other grown men forced a young girl from another country who came to this retreat, and you were part of the group that pushed her to to drop the charges. What was that, Louis?
She wasn't even that old. Right?
Yeah, I don't know if she was a teenager, but she was a very young woman. And and now you're talking about now you want us to report it to you. Okay. I think that you are not seeing what the reality of the situation, and you should say, I'm going to give this up to another organization so that you guys know that I'm never involved with this type of decision making again, and an outside organization is going to handle that. That's what I want to hear from him. I'm not going to say that, then I go back to fight sports because everything's okay, but it's a step in the right direction. You can't be the problem and the solution. You're guilty of this thing. You can't also be in this situation. You cannot also be the part of the solution. You've got to hand it off to somebody. And I just thought I read it, and I'm sorry, but I just thought it was ridiculous. Really, you don't you see that? Are you not seeing what I'm seeing?
Right. Right. And then like going back to the message that Maggie sent me, she said she wasn't in the right place to make a response. But then not only that pops out, but they're back to competing. You're not in the right mindset to make a fucking response, but you're in the right mindset to compete. Like,
so let's go up that ladder that I said. So we talked about what you can do at the gym level. What needs to be done at the only governing, I'm doing air quotes here, governing body that we really have is IBJJF, really, right? I mean, that's the only, right? That's the organization that we look to. And I guess ADCC on a competition level, but IBJJF, right? You want to get your certificate that says you're, a black belt, you're an IBJJF recognized black belt. What do they do? What can they be doing on that level?
They need to,
anything
screening.
Yes, screening. You can do bans. A lot of these guys, as you can see,
like with Mo banned everybody.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mo didn't play games. Exactly. You can start doing. There needs to be real severity. If we can't, for instance, the two guys who went to Brazil, right? They took off. We can't do anything. We all know that. They're good. We can't go over there.
But they can probably compete in IBJJF.
Yeah, they can compete and exactly. They can still do their passion. When they took away passion from these two, a passion that we all know. Jiu-jitsu is passionate.
Because some of the victims didn't go back to jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
But these guys are training.
So
people are letting them in.
So what can they do? I mean, does it take like Mo banned fight sports? Not just them, like fight sports as a whole, like the fight sports banner as a whole. Am I wrong? From any ADC competition, ADCC, or is it just them in particular?
You gotta double check.
I'm not sure. I think it was just like Marcel and like the whole the people that were associated with the cover up.
Yeah.
So.
But now fight to win. Seth posted no fight sports.
No
fight sports. I saw that the day after he was on a podcast, and he said he wasn't ready. It was kind of like he said it's a guilty till proven innocent situation. I'm not ready to make that mass statement. And then that was a couple of days before, and then I saw his post that said no more fight sports. So, right. I mean, is that the answer? Is that the answer? Or is that punishing everybody? Is it punishing everybody under the fight sports banner? Is that the answer?
I think they're okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're okay with it. You got to think about it.
And if it happens again, you know,
it's a severe thing.
It might not come out now. It might be more secretive.
It's so severe. This is something that we all need to I feel like people are rationalizing the severity of it. They're like, oh, it's already settled with and stuff.
It wasn't all fight sports. It was only a handful.
We all have to march together in this. And if you're not, that's the problem.
I challenge anybody that has a daughter and trains in fight sports to sit down with their daughter, whatever age, and explain what happened. And then be able to look them in there, but I still train there. And okay, let's say your teenage daughter, because maybe you don't want to say this to a child, a very small child, but can you see yourself having a conversation, or your child finds out they train jiu-jitsu and they find out, Daddy, is this what's going on with this? Think about that moment of having to look in their face and say, oh no, but that was this, that was that, and we still train that, we still support. I know I couldn't have that conversation.
No.
And that's why that was a big part.
Having that thought is just it's sickening, trying to tell that to your daughter, or not even that, sister, mother, we need to think about it in that manner as well too. This could happen to any one of them, you know what I'm saying? And we've said on the show a lot, I don't know, you guys are familiar with McDojo Life, right? We had Rob on the show, and he's been doing this for years. He's been outing guys like this more on an individual basis. I don't really think he's ever gone really pushed to go after a gym or a full organization, but he's pointed at, he's and all of martial arts. This isn't just jiu-jitsu. So he's been doing this for years.
Yeah, I've seen his posts.
When I posted something, and he's been on the show. He's been on the show way back, and we've could say hello, and we had just a short conversation via message, and I said, this is crazy. How do you do this? you know, how this is like he spends his life exposing fake black belts, predators, rapists, you know, just McDojo type gyms that sell. I'm like, how do you deal with this? This is crazy.
It's a lot of work.
Like, you know, hats off for you've been doing this for years. And like, this is just like coming out. It's just like for him, in my mind, I'm going to speak for myself, but I'm going to say in my mind, he's just like, yeah, we see this every day. I'm getting these messages every day. We've known about this stuff. This stuff is, you know, things that happen. It's not just fight sports. So I was going to say, we've been saying on the show, this isn't just a jiu-jitsu problem. This isn't just fight sports. So we said them, you know, not targeting fight sports. This is not a martial arts problem. This is a societal problem. It just so happens that we're in jiu-jitsu. We love jiu-jitsu and we're seeing it in our world. And we need to cut this out. We need to take a scalpel and cut those people out and get them the hell out of this world. Yep. So again, I go back to is Mo saying that they can't fight in ADCC? Is that the answer? Is the IBJJF coming out behind them saying something? Is, you know, WNO, right? You know, Flow Grappling, WNO, they still have them on, right?
They're big.
They're still on the cards. They haven't come out and, you know, Fight to Win. Hats off to Seth. I think it was a step in the right direction. You know, again, you punish the whole team for something that happened. Well, right now, I feel like it was the right thing to do. Yeah, you know, it's
and you
it's
know,
a severe
these
thing
promotions, are they favoring morality or are they favoring like how famous someone is and their competition level and this person's going to make me money or more views having them on, you know? People have to have that serious talk. Like, I honestly don't see IBJJF going aside and doing anything. I think they're money hungry anyway, you know? So I don't think they're going to dispose fight sports because they have so many competitors going under them anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just sad. People got their morals out of whack, and they gotta recheck their
compass. Really do. And like you said earlier, we all have to march together in this. It's not like we're against this group. I'm not. I actually really respect some of those fight sports black belts. I know personally, not just Wagner. I know a lot of the guys over there. You know what I'm saying? That I look up to. They're highly, you know, talented guys. But like you said, this is a march against
societal issues.
Yeah, exactly. And we all need to come together in this and cut this shit out. This shit needs to stop. All right. And it really does, you know? And it's crazy. Like you said, it's been happening for years. I mean, I've heard this, like there's fucking movies that make fun of like parodies of like Kung Fu and shit. Getting Kung Fu teacher touching a girl, you know, that needs to stop, like period. And everything, you know what I'm saying? And I agree with you on that aspect.
When I see stuff now, you watch TV shows like Netflix. You could watch a TV show from the 80s, the 90s, and I hear the things that are said, and I'm just like, oh, man, you could not say that now. You couldn't be a show right now and say that. You know, just the comments that are made, or the, you know, somebody touching somebody or slapping an ass or something that's just like, whoa, you can't. There's no way that you know cuts the mustard now. You know, so it's a different world. I think that. You know, well, I'm going to say this. I have heard rumors that there's a New York Times article coming out. Am I the only one? Yeah. I understand there's.
We've seen Mo posting a lot about it.
And my assumption was, because he was posting about it, that he's probably been interviewed for it, so that he knows it. He really does know it's coming, or he's in contact with the girls. So maybe the girls. So. Like I said before, I've had some people say, like, really, you know, you really think you should have come out like that? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, what's really changed? Well, they lost at least 4 gyms down that I know of down here. I know of and have had conversations with people like kind of second and third, you know, slightly removed from gym owners that are going to leave. And this article is going to come and it's going to shed a whole new light on something that, again, they think, you know, certain people think has gone away, or it's like, this happens. It's going to happen. You know, it's like the Me Too movement. It comes and now you don't really hear about it. Well, guess what? It's not over. And who knows what else is going to come out and what other allegations are made. But guess what? It's not over.
Right. And maybe this might open the door for even more stories.
Yeah, and the consistency of us keep voicing and keep, that's one thing I really hope people start doing. Just keep voicing it. Keep being consistent and persistent about, this needs to be a stand. This needs to be a change. Like, if we just, for a month or two, I did see that a while back when that happened with one of the girls, because we were talking about this down here a while back, 4 or 5 years ago when it did initially happen. We were, blasting about it and talking about it. I even told Erin a while back, one of my black belts, Spencer Mummy, he was like an advocate about it. If you guys know Spencer does not play. He is going to yell everything on Facebook, Instagram, and he doesn't give a fuck how he says it.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a character.
It got to the point where, he was posting about that, and I knew Fight Sports was upset with him. They even said he couldn't come over there, and I told Erin, I was like, yo, they know I gave that man his black belt, so I know they're going to feel a type of way because he's constantly blasting about it, and it needs to be done. It really does, and consistency matters. Josh LeDuc was doing it for a while, and we were doing it, and no one really talked.
Those guys over at Gamblers are raw. They don't give a fuck who they offend. I follow them. I'm like, I see some of the stuff he posts, and oh my god, it's like
they're wild guys. They really
and not
are.
Just outing that. I think a lot of people over sexualize jiu-jitsu too. I don't know if you've seen my recent post, me getting into this argument with this porn star that was literally doing So backstory, jiu-jitsu meme. I don't know if you ever followed that profile, but
what is it called?
Jiu-jitsu memes.
Yeah,
I'm sure I do. I follow everything jiu-jitsu, I'm sure.
Right. So he posted this girl doing like this leg lock with like fishnets and stuff, and made like a funny caption on it. And I'm like, what the heck? So, and he tagged the girl. I was like, this is a real picture? So I go on her profile, and she's doing like very the explicit things with jiu-jitsu techniques, like on stage putting guys in triangles, like in videos getting rear naked choked. And you see Gary Tonin and Gordon Ryan like commenting on her, and you see a lot of jiu-jitsu guys following her too. So of course I say something, and I'm saying, stop sexualizing jiu-jitsu. Like, this is not the place for it.
Go to the beach. Go to the
Right.
Be a stripper and do it there.
Like, again, I have no problem with her sexuality. What she does for a living, that's fine. You can be empowering all you want with it without bringing jiu-jitsu.
Exactly. That's all.
So of course, Gary Tonin shares it and calls me a Karen and writes that our sport already looks like sex. So how can we not sexualize it? And that was a huge red flag to me. Like, we have these high-level competitors, thinking sexualizing jiu-jitsu is okay. I don't know about you, but I've never thought of jiu-jitsu being sexual. I'm trying to choke and armbar people out. Like, I never think that it looks like sex at all, whatsoever. And my first thought was, do you think sexually when you teach women and children, Gary?
I will be posting a clip of that statement right there, so you will have your opportunity to get into it with Gary at some point. I agree. I tell you personally, again, my gym.
A lot of women step on there too. Thank you for outing this. This is part of the problem too. So many women get harassed on the gym because they think it's okay.
I'm a fan of the way my school does it. We have, before all this happened, so this was before, so it was already going down this road. We had a lot of girls that graduated from the kids. We have a strong kids program. So they were graduating from the kids program, 16, getting their blue belts and training with the adults program. It's like time to, adults class, guys, 7:30. So they realized I'm probably not going to have that 16-year-old rolling with Milton. And I've rolled with some young kids. I've had parents be like, hey, go roll with Milton, 16-year-old. I've coached a little bit in the past, but I've rolled with men, women, young guys, and younger female competitors. Our school, as those girls started to graduate, we started to put cones down the middle of the mat or down like a portion of the mat because we do have we have a huge female presence because of Sophia. Husband-wife team makes people feel comfortable. So the girls started training on one side of the mat, and now we had we have a large mat area, and then we had a smaller area where we have like a after-school care program. So they just kind of like took out all the rooms, and we put mats in there. The girls train on that side, and the men train on the other side. We're completely separated now. We were going down that road anyway with the mats being separated, girls on this side, men on this side, and now we're just in 2 different rooms. And I'm kind of a fan of it. We do on weekends, we call them like family open mats because so many parents train, like their kids trained and then they got recruited and now they train. So we kids on one side and then the adults on the other because there's a smaller group of adults. And in that, if a girl wants it, like I rolled with one of our female coaches today, and I almost never ask anybody to roll because I'm usually the bigger guy. Everyone is smaller than me. Again, I'm like 230. So I always let somebody come to me because I never want to feel like a bully, like I'm grabbing somebody. So I've always been like that anyway, and that's the way I am with the females. If you want to roll with me, if you ask me to roll, then that means you're comfortable with rolling with me. We've probably rolled before, and I will roll with you. But I never go grab a girl. There's one really, really tough girl in our gym that I'm like, come on, Flo, let's go. Yeah. I'll grab her, but she can kick my butt all over the mat, like you can kick his, right? Yeah. So I like that's probably the only female that I ever ask. Otherwise, it's if you want to roll with me, I'll let you ask me, and I will roll with you. But I'm never going to grab anybody again, being the bigger guy, and then okay, I'm going to roll with a 125-pound woman, and I always pull guard and let her work. Yeah. But I feel comfortable and they feel comfortable. So if they ask me, we can roll. But I'm very much a fan of the way my school is doing it. I'm not saying that every gym has to do it that way. We just happen to be doing it that way now, and especially given the environment, I think it's good. Go on outside over there.
Yeah, I know. I absolutely like that, and like Erin says, we kind of do something.
We pair our girls together in adult class.
I really like what you guys said before about the privates and the coaching, because that's where things can go wrong, especially if you have a predator that you're not aware of. Is all of a sudden they're doing privates, like with the Marcel thing, or one of the predators. They were away at a Submission Hunter Pro event, right? They went away to the. Right? Like, first of all, never put your kid in that position. Never, as a parent, I'm never going to let my daughter travel with a man by themselves. That's a whole other issue. Yeah. But being put in that position where I like that you said you do not have males coaching female competitors and vice versa. I think that's smart. It's where we're at, whether we like it or not. It's just where we're at, and you open yourself up to problems. And there's a business side to this. And then there's the love of jiu-jitsu side. There are some of us who have turned this into businesses where, mine is the podcast. Mine is our podcast store. Yours is the gym, right? Yours is competing. Yep. If you want to put that at risk, keep on doing the same old. Keep on doing things the same way. And the bell will toll for you as well. Whether you like it or not, somebody's going to do something stupid and it's going to fall in your lap. Or you can take proactive steps to cut out that cancer before it happens.
Absolutely.
So
it's going to be a slow journey, but
I hope that article speeds things up. Whatever that article does, if it really makes an impact on us, again, I know at least 4 gyms that have either left, the Fight Sports organization, at least down here, just in Florida, and I do know others that are happening, that have said or have reached out to other people that I know and said, we're working on it. And they're not making big announcements in every cases, and they've changed their name, and you might still see the Fight Sports logo on somebody's gi. They're not making everybody rebuy gis and things, trying to make it just like a smooth transition. But I believe that a New York Times article, because that is really not only a national, it's New York Times, that's a national publication, and really an international these days, right? Everything's international. I think that you're going to have other schools drop off just for the mom or dad that's not following jiu-jitsu memes on Instagram, right? That's not hearing about this stuff is going to hear about this stuff because it's going to be in the news and a different platform than where we're all talking about it. What was that, Erin?
It's going to be more in their face now.
Yeah. And
Well, jiu-jitsu is becoming such, and that's another thing that, like you said, the bigger picture. Like, I really don't feel Cyborg and Wagner and, the fight sports organization understand how quick jiu-jitsu is moving, and like such a mainstream, platform, like, from who's number one, Flow Grappling now, like, like
and the responsibility you have
as a role model,
as the face, and famous acolytes that you have.
That's I think that's the biggest part of this, is you have to understand your role in this world.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when you start to change the facts, bend the stories, force people not to, to press charges,
you're
like,
I don't know what you're talking about. And then there's pictures the next day.
Yeah, dropped by your students.
Yeah.
That shows cracks.
I'm curious as to, again, I know the gyms that have left. I'm curious as to kind of, how many students they've lost, if any. Have you? I know it's having an impact on going to events.
That post in that gym, and I'm like, where's your mind at?
I'm gonna also say, and I'm down here in the belly of the beast in South Florida, so I haven't been careful about what I'm saying. Like, careful, watch out. You don't know. Look, I'm as a father, as a husband, as a human being. This is how I feel. I could give a shit. Again. I've unfollowed, if I see something fight sports, I've unfollowed all the gyms. I made an effort to go. I every time it came up, it was making me, like sick to my stomach. I was just like, all right, unfollow. I've unfollowed anything fight sports. And if I see competitors come up, it's no slight on them. I'm unfollowing them. In my mind, doing something where we're producing content that's online, said, if they're not hearing us here and in the gym, we all know that they're all looking at their followers and how many followers they have. And you could see how many people drop off. So there was a little part of my mind that said, you know what? Even if it's just one, they're going to see that number go down. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one. So they see that number go down a couple of times in a day and go, oh, wow, people aren't following me. And maybe that will have a little bit of an impact, because we know, and Erin, as a competitor, that, your following is going to help you make money. I know this. Yep. I know this. I support other competitors, and that number equals the number that you can ask a sponsor for, and that number is going to be, hey, are you going to have me come out and am I going to do a seminar? I look, when somebody tells me they want to come on the show, if I get an unsolicited request, I go on their social media. I start to follow them. I want to see, how many followers do you have? How long have you been doing this? Like, I'm looking at certain criteria to say, hey, is this person worthy to come? We're getting a lot of requests. We have a lot of people that want. I can't interview everybody. And, do I want to interview a white belt, or do I want to interview a black belt, right? I want to interview somebody who's having an impact and has a story to tell. So that was a choice I made for myself. Unfollow. And I'm going to continue to do that. And I've got different, I've got to do it on I've got to go across all 5 social media platforms that I manage, all the Instagrams that I have for myself. But I've been doing that, and make me feel a little bit better. And I said, here, if you're not hearing us here, feel this. See the unfollows, and I'm going to continue to do that. So I don't know. That's my advice to anybody who's a little pissed off. When you see somebody, on the podium with their Fight Sports logo, I don't know, maybe unfollow them and send them a message that way. Doesn't mean that you hate them. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean anything more than you're showing your disapproval, of what they're representing, or at least the organization that they represent. So. All right, let's go into, we got a little speed round. I'm not sure if you've listened to the show before. We do a little speed round of questions. We'll let you guys both answer them. And again, I always call it a speed round. You can elaborate if you'd like. There's no pressure on time. So, okay, so Erin, your favorite, gi or no gi?
Gi.
Gi? Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Luis?
Can I say both?
You can say whatever you want. What's your favorite? If you had to pick one, if Erin said, let's go train right now, are you grabbing your gi, or you're like, we're doing no gi, right? What's your preference?
I grab the gi.
Yeah.
I start with the gi. Yeah. That's
same.
Okay.
We can do a lot of no gi now, but
we're transition. Now we're doing everything no gi. But yeah, we started in the gi, so I'd probably just grab my gi.
All right. Now, Luis, takedown or pull guard?
Takedown.
Erin?
Depends.
Oh.
If it's gi, I'm pulling guard.
Okay.
If it's no gi, I wrestle more with no gi.
Go-to move. What's your favorite?
Oh, I would say the Kimura trap.
I saw you rip that. You almost ripped off somebody's arm the other day with that Kimura. Did you have to give it back to her later? Like, here you go.
Yeah.
And she tapped her, was like, "Oh, you okay?"
With most people that have got knocked out the first round in the semis, that came back the next day, they were very angry, and wanted to avenge their losses. So I was like, one of the few people that showed up anyway.
Oh yeah, that's another podcast.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Luis, what's your go-to? Your go-to move?
Go-to back take. Yeah, I like to take the back and choke you.
Don't we all? Other than, all right, let's say favorite competitor to watch. Or let's start with, let me take that back. Are you fans of jiu-jitsu? Because a lot of competitors are like, yeah, I don't watch. Are you guys fans of jiu-jitsu? Are you like, there's a fight to win on tonight, honey? Get the popcorn, we're watching.
I wouldn't say all the fight to wins, but we definitely do watch jiu-jitsu. We tune into who's number one. We tune into worlds and see how
there's
people are
so much now. Like, and again, as an MMA competitor, right? There's so much to watch when it's like there's a UFC on 2-3 times a week, and then there's the Invictas and the Bellators. You can't watch it all.
Right.
Nah.
And then on top of us teaching it too, sometimes we do step away and take a break.
Yeah.
But we are fans of the sport.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
I've had people on that are like high level competitors, like, yeah, I don't watch. No, I go, I show up, I do my thing. I'm not watching. I've become a little bit of a flow grappling addict because I do love, like, I'm having people on the show. I watched your fight. I had it's an entire weekend of jiu-jitsu. That was tiring, but I had the TV on. Like I pushed the flow grappling from the phone to the TV. So I had it on in the background while I was doing stuff, and I'd stop and I watched, but I couldn't watch everything. So I watched all your matches today. So I love doing that little bit of research and seeing, just kind of doing it. It makes it
easy too. Archives.
Yeah. Yes. So who's your favorite competitor to watch, Erin? Besides yourself, who's your favorite competitor when you are watching?
Oh man, favorite competitor. Who have I liked watching recently? Oh, I forgot her name. Totally forgot her name. But this new black belt on the scene. I think she trains out of Unity Jiu Jitsu. I think blonde hair. But she's been doing nasty barrel and bowls. Completely forgot her name. But that's who I've been watching recently. But before that, I was watching a lot of Elizabeth Clay because she was just on a tear through the black belt scene last year and this year. But as far as like all times, definitely like Felipe Pena or Leandro Lowe. Definitely.
Okay. I want they did a documentary on him. Was it Leandro? No, I'm sorry, not Leandro. Buchecha. There's a documentary coming out on Flow.
Yes, for sure.
Luis, favorite competitor to watch?
If it's not Erin,
there you go.
Like
Smart
that,
man. You got a good one there.
Like
Save.
All the young kids that are in it right now, like that kid Cole from Alabama.
Yeah.
Kids are freaking blue belt, just running through Geo, or the Rotolo bros. Like people are sleeping on those two kids, man. People
not anymore. Did you see the rankings? Right, they're ranked. Are they ranked number 1 and 2?
They're both number 1.
Yeah,
they're both 155, 185, and they can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
them boys are gonna get big.
Man,
all these kids are incredible. Like that's one thing I'm excited for, to get to compete against these kind of kids that have been training literally since they were like 5 at the highest level possible. Because like right now, all these fucking kids have been doing high level jiu-jitsu since they were
very young.
Yeah, high level.
Competing at Kids World.
Yeah,
now doing who's number 1.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, man, these young kids definitely
we have a huge kids program I mentioned before, and now I'm training with these 16-year-old kids, these young men who I've seen. You know, I've been at my gym.
I gotta roll with them 100%.
Like,
because they're like we have two
harder.
teams that I'm like, damn, I gotta go harder on you so you
man,
don't choke my ass out.
Yes, yeah. Like I've been at this gym for 5 years. I trained 2 years at another gym. 5 years at this gym. So you see a 12-year-old become a 17-year-old, and you're just like, oh geez, like. This is the reason why I start jiu-jitsu. It's hard to like. I have a regular 9 to 5 and I do the podcast. I have 2 jobs. It's very difficult to do jiu-jitsu and to go work out with weights. I try. I'm really pushing myself now. Sometimes it's just hard. Come down to Miami to do the podcast. It's like hard to get the training in. But those kids are the reason why I'm like, I have to lift. You have to lift. When the skill level's the same, when those 2 things equal each other out, strength does come into it. I'm lucky enough that my size, they're usually smaller than me, but now the size is like, doesn't. So I'm actively starting to lift weights again because of that. I'm just like, these little kids are kicking my ass. I was watching this kid crying on the mat, running off the mat to mommy, my foot hurts when he was 12, and now he's 17 and he's kicking my ass. I'm like, oh boy, it's time to step it up. So that's why I do that. So, okay, let's get back to our questions. Other than achieving the ranks of black belt, which you are both black belts, what is your ultimate goal in the world of jiu-jitsu? For both of you.
Ultimate goal, just being an amazing instructor, honestly, and then helping people achieve their goals. I love competing, and I always want to be a black belt world champion, gi and no gi. But outside of that, like my heart is into teaching, and I would love for us to blow up our gym, just like these big name gyms, and help people with their future in it.
Luis?
Just the same as her. I love competing as well. I'm getting ready for Masters Worlds and all that, but I love. My biggest thing is to become a good teacher, like me and Aaron have been around Hoist Gracie for a long time. Aaron grew up around him, and what he's instilled in us, and I hear it all the time. He's like, I compete, but I'm a great teacher. And that's what we want to be. That's what we want to instill. Because, one day competition's going to go out the window. I ain't going to be strong, all that, but I'm going to be a hell of an instructor and create an impact. Because at the end of the day, impact. Yeah, that's what we're here for. At the end of the day, we're here to extend our knowledge. I'm already a black belt. I already know what I am. Erin knows what she is. We're already high level. It's just smooth sailing now, but for the longevity of it, extend that shit, really, have my name out there.
That's my favorite part. Like my day job, I love training people. And in jiu-jitsu, when I first started, I was at a very small gym, and even at white belt, I was like assistant coaching. And sometimes I'd have to open. He was in law enforcement, and sometimes he'd be on like a stakeout and be like, Milch, you got to open. So I was like little gym. So I'm like this white belt training the kids, like doing the kids class and then doing the adults classes. But like, it was so new that like, I was the higher white belt and training the other white belts. That's always been my favorite thing as it relates to jiu-jitsu, especially starting later. Never going to be a world champion. Like that's not what I want to pursue. But being able to, like, even today, somebody like, hey, how did you do that thing? I'm like, yeah, come on. And I love showing somebody something that I knew, especially if I could make their journey to the solution easier. Like, I feel like I had looked at a million YouTube videos to figure this out, and I couldn't figure out why I was doing this thing wrong. And if I can share that with somebody and they're just like, light bulb goes off, and they're like, I love that. That's my favorite part of jiu-jitsu, period.
And then you see them use that technique successfully and rolling. Like that's the best feeling. You got like a tear in your eye. You're like, oh my young grasshopper, good job.
Absolutely, I love that. They
come back to you and they're like, yo, I did it.
I went to the We Defy Foundation gala last month in Dallas. And there was a guy there he blew out his knee. He was training. He was an ambassador as well. And he had blown out his knee prior. And I was like, let me show you something. I said, I blew out my knee before COVID. And my coach is very strong with the lockdown. And I'm like, let me show you how I do the lockdown, because it takes all the pressure off my leg, but it takes my leg out of the equation when somebody's attacking. It helped me get back on the mat, because I couldn't do a lot of really good passing. I can't do like a baseball slide pass. Like I couldn't do that with my leg. It's just going to injure it again. I said, look what I did. And he walked. I started to show him I did the lockdown on him in a roll, and then he was just like, what did you do? And I said, look, let me show you how to do it the way I do it so that I know that I take my knee out of the equation, but I can still maintain a strong position. And his eyes lit up when he started doing it on me. He's like, we're practicing it. And now he's gone home and he's like, hey, he's like, I've been showing people the lockdown that you showed me. And that's like such a good feeling, you know, not even like he's not my student, but it was good to pass something along like that. Again, I love that. Those are my favorite parts, is just showing people stuff and then them being able to use it and come back to you and say, hey, I used it. Oh my God, I'm getting everybody with it. You know, I love those feelings. All right. So what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you in your gym or on the mats, maybe even in a competition? Anything crazy ever happened to you?
So outside, like blowing my knee in training, freak accident, which always sucks. The finals of Abu Dhabi trials, I was purple belt. The trials were down here in Tampa, I think. Yeah. And I was going against Tara White, which Tara White and we would always compete against each other. You know, I would win one, then she would win one. You know, she's awesome black belt too. And we met at the finals, and this is for the ticket to go to Abu Dhabi. And like the first 30 seconds, she goes for a takedown, and like I sprawl super hard, and my collarbone comes out. And of course, like there's 5 more minutes to go. So I don't know how, but by the grace of God, I just kept it together and won by advantage. But because like you can't tear up, you know, you can't
make a sound.
Like,
you can't.
Yeah, that's
you
a
can't
verbal
go
tap.
out, right? Yeah.
Right. You know, like as we're walking back to the center, because we went out of bounds, like I point to Lewis, like, my shit's done. And he was like, just keep going. You got it, baby. Like what else is he going to say?
Easy for you to say.
No. Yeah, right when the match ended, though, I like fell apart. But, you know, thankfully, they were able to put it back in, and I was able to go to Abu Dhabi. But that was like the craziest thing that's ever happened to me in a match.
How about you, Luis? Anything crazy ever happen?
In competition, not in jiu-jitsu, not yet. MMA, yeah. I mean, I choked a dude out, and they didn't think I choked him out. That was funny.
Oh my God.
So like with my first MMA fight, that was a hell of a. That's a great. There we go. That's a good one. It was a crazy experience. What was it at?
You gotta tell
North.
We gotta tell the backstory.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. It's in like Port Charlotte, Florida. So we're fighting in Port Charlotte, Florida. My coach gets me a fight, a day's notice from the original fight. So we're like hauling ass.
The prior opponent pulled out
day of, and it's amateur.
Royal
so you know.
This guy from Port Charlotte looking for an opponent.
So we haul ass there. It's in a barnyard. All right.
Outside.
Yeah, outside.
Outside. Think of like you're like a Florida, like a barnyard.
I can imagine. I live here. I know. I get it.
Our warm-up station was a trailer park, like an actual trailer home. And then like there was a back area. There were fucking like little sewing needles on the ground and shit.
I'm picking up while he's
warming up and shit. So fast forward, we get into the cage. The cage is wet because it's fucking November. You know how it gets muggy like outside. Yeah. So I try to throw a punch. I fall. Arroyo first round goes, full guard. What?
Which you never do in MMA.
Full guard.
But it was so slippery, you know.
Yeah, it was the craziest fight I ever got into because we were slipping and sliding, fighting. You know, I managed to take us back in like the second round. Get a full RNC. The guy goes, "No, you cranked him." I'm like, "Wait, what? This is MMA. I can do whatever I want once I get back there."
Of course, I can't shut my mouth. I'm like, "That's a rear naked choke, ref. Like, how do you not know this?"
So Arroyo's like, "Shut up. You get DQ'd." We go on. We win unanimously. You know, I take him back down, get mount. Well, I pulled guard and swept his ass. I didn't even do it. I just kept pulling guard. It was the funniest MMA fight ever. But yeah, that shit was wild. Yeah. And then we rode back 100 miles back home because that's Arroyo. Because we had to get home quick. Yeah.
Are you still fighting? Do you still fight MMA?
Nah, actually, I ventured in. Erin took off. It was kind of cool. Like, the start of pro grappling was my start. And, like, I was like, yo, I'm going to stick with jiu-jitsu because I debuted at Fight to Win Tampa when they were first here. Brown belt. I got, like, submission of the night. That was when Wagner kicked AJ off the stage.
Yeah. Oh, that. Yeah.
That was
same night.
I was on that card. Yeah, I was like literally a couple of matches right before that. It was hilarious. He kicked him right into me. I was like, hey, this is hilarious. But yeah, so
And you opened the gym.
Yeah, I fast forward into like pro grappling, and then we opened the gym, and that was like really what I kept doing. You know,
devoted more time.
Yeah, it was like I have a gym. You know, like I'm one of the first people in my family have my own business and stuff like that. So that's what I always knew. I knew from the get-go when I did jiu-jitsu, when I started it, I was like, I don't know what the else I'm going to do, but jiu-jitsu is going to be it. You know, jobs, whatever, but jiu-jitsu was always the one. I knew I could teach, and I knew I could do it. And that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. Like we were saying, the teaching aspect, you can extend so much, you can make so much, you can do so much, you know,
Very
with
impactful.
this. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
All right. So this is always a little bit of a weird one. It's a little bit of a thinker. Do you have any regrets as it relates to your martial arts journey, Erin? Anything you wish you did differently?
Yes, two things. I wish I didn't take time off during high school a little bit, even though I was like on the sway of liking jiu-jitsu and not. I wish I stayed more consistent because I was really only training once a month. And also stepping away from competition, like as I got my brown belt, because I got injured with my knee, had to get reconstruction surgery on my ligaments, so I was out for like a year with that, and I just went back into MMA versus going back into jiu-jitsu. So I was like kind of upset not staying consistent on the jiu-jitsu scene. So definitely have regrets on that. Now I'm like devoted to trying to do as much as I can, you know, while I'm young. But yeah, those are my two regrets.
Was it something specific that got you back into jiu-jitsu? Was it like you had gotten hurt? Right? Tell me how you went to MMA, but you came back to jiu-jitsu. And I'm sorry if I missed it. Was there something specific that made you go, oh, let me take a run at the jiu-jitsu again?
Funny. During COVID, we lost like half of our revenue, so we were really trying to
all of our students.
Yeah, like I even got a part-time job, so there was no real chance for me to go back into MMA. And then once it was like the end of 2020 that we started going back into our gyms in Florida. So I was really devoted into that. And then Fight to Win reached out and asked if I wanted to fight Maggie on their all women's card. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Like, let's do it. And after that, I started getting more opportunities. So I was like, man, let me just see where this goes, you know, and I'm thankful for it. You know, I don't want to turn down any more opportunities, especially with jiu-jitsu.
So you did say before you'll still fight MMA, but is it your heart's really in the jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
I mean, it's always like there's longevity in jiu-jitsu that just doesn't exist in MMA. There's a breaking point. You age out, you get hurt.
Yeah. And you see
take so much.
I'm getting older and older now, but I'm not one of those people who's gonna do that or waste my brain cells either.
Yeah, you don't want to be punch drunk. It's not
right.
It's not a good look.
Exactly.
It's really weird.
But for me, I'm thinking like once or twice a year as far as fighting. You know, my goal isn't to be like UFC champion anymore. I want to show that I'm one of the best like jiu-jitsu grapplers. You know, because I am a jiu-jitsu fighter. You know, not an MMA fighter. You know, my heart is in jiu-jitsu.
Luis, any regrets?
No, I love this shit. No, I only have maybe, and this is like a general regret I think we all can relate to, is like knowing when to recover, you know, like I would, especially being fucking younger, I would always push through injuries that I know now that I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go check that out, you know, and like to all the young listeners, the athletes, the guys that want to push through the pain, don't do that. Don't do that. Go look into recovery. That's the biggest thing. And that's been really helping me now, you know, like I had an opportunity to be on Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, and I popped my knee. And I was like, all right, do I go out to Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds, fuck this shit up more, Then I can't compete in Masters Worlds and all this other competition, or do I rest? Me at 25, 24, I would have went. I would have said, fuck my knee. You know what I'm saying? And just not think about, plunging, elevate, all this kind of things. And that's what I said. My biggest regret when I was younger was like, I hurt my rib. I was like, I'll give it a month. And then I come back in, hurt myself longer, and I couldn't be training. Without
going to get adjusted.
Yeah.
Or going to monthly massages.
Things like that.
Cryotherapy.
Never thought of that shit when I was younger.
Yeah.
Never.
Now it's on a regimen.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, something we preach around here. I mean, I go to the chiropractor once a week. Cold shower. I don't do cryotherapy, but cold shower after if I train jiu-jitsu, cold shower. If I go do weights or anything else, hot shower, cold shower after jiu-jitsu, it helps me. And really weight training, I feel like weight training, and I'm not going super heavy, I feel like it helps me recover better. Especially when I got my back is hurting, but when I'm lifting, I'm like, those little things don't hurt me as much anymore.
No, and you're right.
I went a long time where I took, weight training out of my training regimen, and now it's back, and I feel the difference. Feel better. You feel better, especially because your body feels better, your mind feels better, you're performing better on the mat, and you leave and you're like, not only did I get the relief of stress, but now I'm doing so good, and you feel like you're progressing. So it's a great, it helps the mindset. So
absolutely, couldn't agree more.
All right, so this is a big question here. This is probably the most important question that you are ever going to answer, ever. Ever in any, no matter what podcast you do, no matter what interview you do, this is the most important question. This is the one that everybody's been waiting for. Do you or do you not wash your belt?
So you got two people that do different things.
I'm just going to tell you, you didn't see your husband's face and what he did off to. I don't think you saw it. Maybe you saw it on the screen there, but go ahead. You answer. He smiled and made a little face, but go ahead.
I'm one of those, I guess, weird traditional jiu-jitsu people. I don't wash it. I do Lysol, but I don't wash. He washes his belt.
Yeah.
I Lysol. But
you're killing him. Look, you're killing him already. He's coughing. He caught something.
I throw it in the wash.
He throws it in the wash. For me, I'm like, no, you can't wash off the hard work. I have that conspiracy mind.
Bo, a house divided.
Yeah.
This is like liking two different football teams here.
But I do Lysol.
It's opposites attract, like energies attract. I'm really confused.
So I've always washed my belt. I've always washed it. It was just nobody ever told me not to. I just throw it in with the gi. I've always just thrown it in with my gi. I've had guests on the show that have been like, of course you wash it. And then I've had people that have been like, are you crazy? Why would you do that? Everybody has a different reason. And it does come back to the one that I can understand the most is if you're washing it, it fades. But if you're training and it fades, like you're showing the amount of training that you had, right? Yes. It's the only one it's still nasty and disgusting. It's still gonna have yuckies. It's still gonna have yuckies. I got my brown belt less than 2 weeks ago, and I haven't washed it yet. So I've always washed it, and now there's like this little part of me that's going at brown.
It's a long way off from a science experiment.
I haven't watched it yet. We'll see.
Like I've gotten this far.
I'm thinking.
Not yet.
I'm thinking like once a month situation. I've got once a month.
I saw. Treat it like boxing.
Once a month. I mean, how many times do you roll? Well, you're rolling 30 days a month.
Well, we do gi. I do gi at least 3 days a week, and then no gi. So
2 times.
Yep.
All right. So we usually flash on the screen like team wash your belt and team #powers in the belt. So we're gonna have to split screen it and do both. So all right, guys, listen. I want to give you a moment to shout out your sponsors. Anybody you want to say hello to? The floor is yours.
Yeah, just shout out to No Judges Needed, Flow and Roll, and our teams, Gracie Apollo Beach, Gracie Tampa South.
Give out the exact address because there's a lot of people in Florida that listen.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. Almost.
No, that's right. No worries.
Our address 5477 North US Highway 41. Come on down.
Check them out.
Come on
Well,
down.
What's next for you guys? Any events coming up? I think you said Luis said you're going to do the next IBJJF.
Yeah,
in the world.
In Vegas. I'll be out there trying to take a title with those old men. They ain't old. I'm doing Masters 1, so it'll be really exciting. These guys are really dedicated. I think on all platforms right now, like I said earlier, everybody is out there competing. Everybody's going for it. So
especially post-COVID.
Yeah. So
I love it. It's so cool what's happening in jiu-jitsu. It's awesome. And Erin, what's next for you?
Probably.
If Who's Number One opens up this 45 soon, that would be awesome. If not, hopefully either a super fight or an MMA fight at the beginning of next year. And let's give everybody your Instagrams. We'll put them in the bio as well. But tell everybody where they can find you. My Instagrams, my first name Erin.Harpe, HARPE. Go ahead.
Mine is Lewis __Mata BJJ.
Okay, and the school?
Oh, Gracie Apollo Beach. At
Gracie Apollo Beach, right?
Yep.
Yes,
awesome.
Sir.
We'll put them on screen and we'll make sure everybody knows. Listen, guys, thank you so much for doing this. I really love to have you both in the studio next time you're in Miami. Like, next time there's a competition in Miami, you're going to be here. Let's figure something out. Let's get you in one day, either before or after.
Yeah, we don't have a limit on time here. We can do this at night. We can do it at 3 a.m.
Yeah, we have an open studio, our own studio, so we can do it when we'll just figure something out. A little advance notice for me, because if it means I've got to take some time or
you can bring
get out of work early. If it's during the week, I've got my regular 9 to 5. If it's on the weekend, I'm completely open, but we'll set something up and love to have you guys come in.
You can bring takeout. You can bring
I love what we call round tables. I might have another host with us, and we just again shoot the shit about jiu-jitsu. So thank you so much for doing this, guys. I appreciate it. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you guys soon, all right? Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. All right, guys, that was awesome. Thank you so much to Erin and her husband, Luis. I appreciate them being on the show today.
Very cool couple, yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, we want to give you guys an update from We Defy. We went to the gala. Was it September 18th last month?
Yeah.
And we're going to have TJ join us in just a second. He's going to give you guys an update on how much money was raised and some cool things that are going on. So check this out, guys. Hey, TJ, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. It was
Thanks
great
for
to
having
finally meet you face to face at the gala last month.
Yeah, that was awesome to get. I don't know, we had about 20 ambassadors all together. Most of us meeting for the first time face to face, and it means so much to the group when we get to be together like that. I mean, all these things we're doing virtual and long distance across the country, but then we get these moments to actually be together, and the way it just brings the team together. We get to know each other a little bit more. We get to find out even more about each other's skill sets too.
Yeah.
And how we can leverage that as an organization. You cannot find a substitute for those moments, that interaction. And it's been rare for the last year and a half.
You should see this guy roll, Bo. This guy rolls like he's half his age. I mean, he's only 30. He rolls like a 50. No,
30.
You see this guy move? My God,
he's a pilot, man.
Yeah. I saw him rolling over there, and I made sure that I was way on the other side of the mat.
Well, one of the coolest things about getting to be there was and rolling with the big guys. I've gotten to roll with Professor Shibaro before. I've been down there a number of times, but I think one of the highlights for me was Steve Hargett, the new secretary.
Yeah,
man,
he just golded. He
just won Masters 2 medium heavy Nogi Worlds. He's the number 1 ranked in the world at that. And the stuff he taught me in 5 minutes, just watch it. We rolled for maybe 10 minutes, and then he just gave me a couple things that have fundamentally changed the way I play last night.
Wow.
And I mean, awesome. That was the most fun part. And like the pictures that Sam, our social media guy, that he was taking, he got so many awesome moments, not just of cool jujitsu, but of people smiling.
Yeah.
And sharing, and the whole point of the community part, it's in the pictures.
Yeah.
And how awesome was that, to be able to have those moments together.
What's his name again? Steve? I got to meet him briefly. What's his name?
Steve Hargett.
Hargett. Okay. So go check him out on Instagram, everybody. He's
he's six blades under Janji, and man, yeah, he's a beast.
That's awesome.
But man, his instruction, just like I said, that little 5-minute clinic he gave me on how to clean up some stuff was awesome.
Yeah.
So
shout out to everybody. We had two open mats, Friday and Saturday, Friday night, Saturday morning, which was awesome. Believe it or not, this is so crazy for me to say. I don't travel outside of Florida a lot, so I've never traveled outside of Florida and done jiu-jitsu. It's my first time ever doing an open mat in another state. I know it's crazy, right? 7 years in. Yeah. I mean, I've been all over Florida. You know, I've been really all over South Florida, and I've done a million open mats. And a lot of people come into the open mat at my school because we do 2 open mats every weekend. So anybody's welcome to come down. But I've never really traveled for jiu-jitsu. I don't travel a lot. I go on cruises, and with going to Key West. We're in the state where everybody comes to go on vacation. So everybody's coming down to us.
You been on a jiu-jitsu cruise yet?
No, I want to. I got the okay from my wife. She's like, listen, as long as I can lay out by the pool, we can go wherever you want.
It's fine. I'm coming with you.
Yeah, man, I definitely want to do it, man. So
and then I guess then you got some good news too the last couple of weeks. That brown belt promotion.
Yes, I did. I am now a brown belt. Yes, long time coming. COVID held that up a little bit. So,
that's awesome.
Got to step up the game now. Yeah, now. Beating up everybody. Now I'm going harder. I'm like, I gotta earn. I felt like I gotta earn it.
Yeah.
I was coming back off the knee, and then COVID.
Sure.
I didn't feel like myself for a while. Like you feel like you lose a step 9 months out.
Yeah.
So now I feel really good, and my knee is great. I wore a brace today because I ran recently. I started running a little bit. So it was kind of like, let me wear this. Something's happening in there, but otherwise I feel real good, and it's just fun to be on the mat again consistently.
It's awesome.
So
yeah.
So let's talk about the gala a little bit. We had got some some record numbers, not only for the year prior to the gala, but the gala itself. Why don't you tell the people some of the good news?
Yeah. So September was and going into October was a milestone month for us. We hit our 300th sponsored veteran early in the month on September 1st, which was awesome. And we didn't make a big deal about it until the gala because we wanted to announce it, in more of a forum, and then we were able to do it there. So we hit 300, and then we had the gala itself, and we raised over $120,000 in one night at that gala.
Wow.
And that was mind blowing. And we didn't know what we could expect realistically, but it was lower than that.
Yeah. I heard some of the conversations. I heard some of what the expectations were, and certainly we're not over 100,000.
No. When Amy, the national event coordinator, she posted a little exchange she had with Mike Anderson, our treasurer, back and forth, where she said, I don't want to tell anybody this, but my secret goal is 100,000. Like, do you think we can do that? And Mike's this, he's a treasurer, financial analyst guy. He's just really even keel, calm, doesn't get excited. He's like, well, that might be optimistic, but possible. So she blew it out of the water, man. Amy just put on an awesome event.
Hats off to Amy. Love to have you guys back on again all together, or down here in Miami. She was amazing. She put on an incredible event, man.
Yeah, she does. Really, she's got it down. This was her first one, I think, where she was the leader of it. She's assisted on the 2 previous ones when we were smaller, and even the one in LA in 2019. That was the first time we included ambassadors. I was an ambassador at the time. We were able to use lessons learned from that to apply them to this. And how do we get the whole team working together to pull this off? Because we're a volunteer organization. We have 3 contractors, and that's it. The other 160 of us are volunteers.
Yeah.
So, but what an awesome event for the fundraising for our team. For fellowship and community, the broader jiu-jitsu community, and Sean Patrick Flannery as the keynote speaker, and that dude is legit.
Yeah.
He's a black belt. Man, he's got his own program. He is as authentic in person as you could possibly believe. When he came in and met us earlier in the day to kind of brief, hey, here's the events for the day and how we're going to do this. He is so real.
Yeah.
Just
for those people that don't know who he is, he's one of the guys from the Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
Is one of the brothers from
Yeah.
the movie. I haven't watched that movie in so long that I don't remember the character's name.
Well,
But
and he
the
did
guy
that
that's
Born a
not
Champion.
on The Walking Dead. The brother that's not on The Walking Dead, right? He's the other guy.
Yeah. Not Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Norman Reedus. So he did that movie. He wrote and directed that Born a Champion and acted in it.
Okay.
And he released that during the pandemic. And for a bunch of us, especially vets that do jujitsu, that movie was, while we're missing jujitsu, it connected us back to that sport a little bit. And it was almost therapeutic watching it because it hit on veteran tones. You know, it recognized the challenges in some ways that veterans and what jujitsu can provide for veterans. And that wasn't a major theme. And he's not military, although I just found out on a post that he did with Norman when they were at some business looking at models in the airplane in the bar or the restaurant they were in. His dad was a fighter pilot.
Oh yeah,
I had no idea.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there next to him in the gala. We're talking about all kinds of stuff, and that never even came up. And I was like, "Huh?" I had no idea. You know,
awesome.
So that was neat to hear about his family's military heritage too, and it made a lot of sense why what we're doing speaks to him and why he's excited and passionate to help us promote what we're trying to do.
So let's remind everybody what you guys do and who you're helping here. So go ahead.
We sponsor disabled combat veterans to train jiu-jitsu as a therapy for their service-related disabilities. Mm-hmm. So the criteria are need to have service in a combat zone, an honorable discharge on the DD-214, an 80% VA disability rating, and then we also have a waiver for some other things like military sexual trauma being one of them, and then being new to jiu-jitsu or a white belt. So those are the criteria for the scholarship. Then we pay for a year at a gym that we have vetted that we consider to be our training facilities. They're partnered gyms that are on this journey with us.
So let's talk real quick about ambassadors as well. You mentioned that you had about 20 ambassadors out. Talk to people. Why should somebody be an ambassador? Somebody who is thinking about, like, how can I help? You know, it's not just always about the money, but how can they help shed some light on combat disabled veterans, you know, and how jiu-jitsu can help. But tell me why we need more ambassadors.
But in the past, and when I started as an ambassador, the focus at the time was on fundraising. Mm-hmm. And we utilized this volunteer force in the beginning to help run booths and other outreach events to help raise funds. But as we grew and we started to have more veterans we were sponsoring and more gyms, we had administrative duties that started to come up and design needs for gear. And these ambassadors were able to start as volunteers filling these roles to allow this to grow from more of a grassroots organization to a truly national nonprofit. And the ambassadors have continued to pick up more and more roles as we've grown. And with where we are now with this increase in funding, we're at a really cool shifting point in our focus, where in the past we needed the funds. We didn't need to find gyms. That was easy. Finding athletes to sponsor was easy. Finding the funds was hard. The funds are here now. And now we need ambassadors to help us find the veterans we're after and to help us break outside of jiu-jitsu. We're almost a household name now, I think, in the jiu-jitsu community. Mm-hmm. If people don't know exactly who we are or what we do, a lot of them have seen our logo. You know, and what takes 7 times of a logo to be in front of you before you know exactly who somebody is or what they are, you know, something like that. But what we really need now is for all of us who are in jiu-jitsu, what connections do we have outside of jiu-jitsu with the VA, with veteran service or county veteran service officers that help veterans get their VA ratings done after service and things like that. A lot of the VA hospitals have recreational therapy divisions. How do we get our organization in front of them? Because they will have access to the people we're trying to touch and we're trying to help. You know, the ones on the brink, the people really struggling. That's why one of the reasons we're at 80% disability, because we want to sponsor and find the people who have the greatest need. Mm-hmm. And we now have a funding level that allows us to more aggressively look. And that's really exciting. And that's a shift from who we were as an organization before, because it was always find money to help the people that know about us. Now it's find more people. which is awesome.
And an ambassador does not need to be somebody. I do not have a military background. My father was in the military. I found you guys because Junior, one of our co-hosts that you guys haven't seen in a little while, but is still around. Junior, Drew, Miguel, Janet, her husband, Janet's husband was in the Marines. Everybody was involved with the armed forces at some level. I was the only one that wasn't. And when Junior started talking to me about what you guys were doing, I was like, why aren't we talking about this? And I didn't wait a day. I got on and I put in my application on your website to become an ambassador. And here we are. I think, what are we going on 2 years later? Year and a half, 2 years later.
Well, most of the ambassadors have a military background, but I mean, the whole point of this is to get veterans into a community that isn't just veterans, right? It's pulling people together, and that, I think it's important to have the perspective of individuals who did not serve too.
Yeah,
we want those gains, we want those assets, you know.
Yeah, we talked
I think
about
that makes
it with,
the team stronger.
I think we spoke about this with Nick from Warriors Next, who just had his cancer surgery this weekend or this week. So shout out to Nick, he's doing really well.
Yeah.
We talk about it a lot. It's like you're going from one community, you come back, you get out of the military, and we're like the perfect community for you. You get the brotherhood, you get that competition, you get to stay physical, you get to, kill each other, quote unquote, kill each other, break each other's limbs, and shake hands and hug when you're done. So
yeah, and I think the draw, it's partly the combat piece, but it's also that warrior ethos, and from that warrior ethos comes a sense of purpose for veterans. I mean, that's what we did, and a challenge veterans have sometimes, we've talked about this a little bit before, is trying to navigate normal society where that is not the same value held as your peer group was, you know. So now you find a civilian group where they understand that particular value, you know, that's a component of their pastime, their passion, their hobby. And you can start making these connections. You start realizing that everybody has a story that's worth hearing, including people that maybe you, in a way, didn't give enough credit to as a veteran. Maybe some of these civilians who maybe they're not going to get me, they're not going to understand me. Not only are they able to understand you, but you understand them. And you may not have known that was possible. That's not an uncommon thought process for a veteran that's leaving service to feel.
Now, you told me before we came on, you had an announcement.
Yeah. So one of the things that's happening to us, we're great secret announcement. We're growing, and this is a minor thing, but it's emblematic of what's actually happening. We just were awarded our first grant, and it's $3,500 from the Overwatch Alliance. We have never received a grant before, and that now opens the door for some heavy hitters. And we were able to do it partly because of Kevin Linderman and the grant team that he's put together, who have looked at our operations, looked at what we've done, and figured out how do we communicate this in a meaningful way to these sorts of organizations. And he just proved that his model of doing that works. And now we can use that to go after heavy hitters. And I also know that we're really competitive for a couple of things that, if they do pan out, are going to blow your mind. And I can't wait. Cool. I hope these things pan out the way that we look like we're competitive for. Yeah. And I can't wait until we know more. But it shows us the next level, where we went from grassroots funding to a more of a national organization to now something that is recognized by other professional groups and other corporations as a legitimate therapeutic service for veterans. That's goes great. Way beyond just jiu-jitsu. Now we're starting to break out, and that's been a goal from us since I started as an ambassador, which is awesome.
Congratulations, man! That's awesome.
Thank you.
I love hearing stuff like that.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for having me out in Dallas. I can't wait to. What is something? When's the next one? I mean, I don't want to wait till next year to see you guys enroll with you guys till next year. Is there anything happening between now and then?
I anticipate we'll have one next year. We are looking at Veterans Day. In fact, I expect our development team to publish some stuff for Veterans Day. I think it'll be similar to what we did last year. Last year, if you remember, we did a ruck and open mats.
Yeah.
We'll probably mirror that in some ways, and I think they're getting ready to announce what they're going to do.
Okay.
I'd expect Memorial Day, and there's a possibility we may try to put something together at Masters Worlds too.
Okay.
We talked about it. The gala took so much in terms of resources and time that now as we shift gears, we're trying to see, hey, what can we plan well in the next 2 to 3 months? Because we would have been planning it if it wasn't for the gala. We'll get caught up on some of those things, and then we'll get back into our normal tempo. And I think what's really cool is now that we've had this big successful gala, we know how to pull it off. We know how to do it again, and we'll know how to better manage resources going forward to hit the kind of pace we want with other events and things like that.
Very cool.
When the gala happened, we all went into that weekend anticipating something really cool could happen, but we were also highly confident that it was going to be a big success. We didn't know how big, but we just had that feel that, man, we are prepared. And I think we have a really good product here. And again, Amy blew it out of the water.
Go, Amy. Well, we're here for anything you guys need. I always tell you, I'm dying for you guys, somebody to come down to Florida.
Yeah.
Come on the show, do it live in studio. It's just a different feel. We got Drew right around the corner. His gym isn't too far. He's A&M is one of your gyms. So we can go down, do some. He has an open mat on Sundays. So we'll get you guys down there. I'm going to get you guys down here.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. We'll pull off. Yeah.
All right, TJ, let me get, we're going to close out the show, but I appreciate you coming on, and we'll do this again soon. All right, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
take care,
sounds
brother.
good. You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, TJ. We really appreciate you. Guys, a little housekeeping. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Patrick Sablin from @ThisTribalGuy_. If you guys were with us last week, you saw this awesome paddle. I'm going to show you again.
It's not for spanking.
It's not for spanking. No, it is not. It is
Unless you
awesome
got a big ass.
Right. I don't know. I
That's
don't want to
cool,
see the
though.
girl
That's
I got
really
here with
neat,
this.
though.
Right.
That really is neat.
Very cool.
I like how he's got that glass smooth glaze on it. That's really, really nicely done.
I wanted to show you some other stuff that he sent us, which were these awesome
more things
like pendants
neat.
and like keychains, some really cool stuff. I'll show you guys in a second. This is a bird.
Stick them right in front of the products right here.
I can't go. You want to go that far like that?
Yeah. Because I got a close up there. Go down more. Go down, down. Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Right,
oh, those are cool.
Right, that's called the traveling bird. We've got a mahi.
Cool.
Right? We use all of these for keychains.
Right. Nice.
My favorite, the kanji symbols for jiu-jitsu.
Oh,
We got big
very
and
nice.
small.
That's very cool.
You
man.
can either use them as I think really somebody could use these as actual earrings as well. This is the smaller version.
Neat.
Good.
Yep.
Right. I'm going to put this one in the new Bronco if it ever comes. The shark. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
Right.
That's the classic
Awesome.
surf shark. Yeah.
Yeah. Got this one that looks like a wolf. Very cool.
Nice.
You can check all of these out on his Etsy page, etsy.com/shop/this tribal guy. Again, got some of the big kanji ones, right? Sent a couple.
Nice.
Bo, you can take whichever ones you want from here, except the shark is mine. It's the only one I want to keep. You have your choice of any of these if you want to grab one and add it to your
I'll take a
keychain.
look at them afterwards. Yeah.
So thank you, Patrick. Appreciate the gifts. He also sent us some T-shirts. We'll shout you guys out on the T-shirts as well on one of the upcoming episodes. But also want to thank all of our Patreon sponsors, including Carlson Gracie Winter Haven in Winter Haven, Florida, cgwinterhaven.com, @CarlsonGracie_Winter Haven on Instagram. Also, Carlson Gracie, Broward County. Big shout out to Big J, North Lauderdale. Down here in Florida as well. CarlsonGracieBrowardCounty.com and @CarlsonGracieBrowardCounty on IG. John Way Martial Arts in Plantation, Florida. JohnWayMartialArts.com and @JohnWayMartialArts. Awesome dude. Love having him on. Our individual sponsors include Jebediah Berra, Robert Walker, Frank House, BOA Athletics. So check them out on BOA_Athletics Athletics on IG. Michael Pixley Jr., Jason Smiley, Britt Tavar, who also works with Fightback CBD. CJ Carroll, Mission 22, Truck Red Door, and Roberto Santiago. Those are all of our Patreon specials. If you Patreon sponsors. If you guys want to support the show and get a shout out just like that, you can visit us on patreon.com/Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. You're also automatically entered to win up to $100 of Jiu-Jitsu swag. I just started to catch up. So CJ Carroll just won $100 worth of Jiu-Jitsu swag. We sent them some podcast stuff and a bottle of Fightback CBD. So being a sponsor or a podcast patron, as we call them, will enter you to win these cool prizes as well. We mix these in with people who send questions for the show. If we use your question on the show, you're also entered into these drawings. At Jiu-Jitsu Dummies on Instagram for all the ways to watch, listen, support, and donate to our scholarship program. We award one-year scholarships to veterans, first responders, and amazing kids. Also follow us. I've been building up that TikTok at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies Podcast on TikTok. We just had one of our videos not go viral, but it was big for us. We had one of our law enforcement videos with Freddie Trillo just took off a bit.
Really?
Yeah, for us, 20,000 views is pretty good for us. We just started the page. Check out the podcast store at jiu-jitsudummies.shop. Get 15% off with code JJD. We have ranked rash guards, tees, backpacks, coffee mugs, free shipping on orders over $50. We want to thank We Defy. TJ, thank you for coming on the show again. I think he did a good explanation of what they do, but get onto their website, follow them on IG. It's wedefyfoundation.org and at We Defy Foundation on IG. Fightback CBD, get 20% off your CBD order at fightbackcbd.com with code JJD. Again, I'm Uncle Milty BJJ on IG.
You almost forgot.
That's Bo.
I'm Bo.
At Bo what?
It's
you never give it out. We never
at Badworks. BADWERKS.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, guys. Which one am I on here? Here we go.
On the you can you go on this one. Fuck it. Go on that one.
Listen, everybody, thank you so much for sticking with us. We were on a little bit of a hiatus there because of car breakdowns and dying batteries.
Multiple things, yeah.
But we're back. We had a guest cancel. I had to cancel one, so it happens.
And I just sat here in limbo.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys, sticking with us, and we're definitely going to continue to put out more podcasts each month. So, and
looking forward to those TikToks.
Check it out.
Those are going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, I've been putting out episodes. I've been putting out episode snippets. So, just pieces of the show. Like I was posting on Instagram. We have not done some of our funnier stuff, but we just I need a dummy.
Gotta do some.
No one's ever available. I need a dummy to join me in my garage.
You need to get a crash test dummy outfit for somebody.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
I need to get somebody to join me to do the TikToks first because my wife and daughter don't want to do it.
To literally stand there and get their asses kicked. It's just
somebody's already done those.
This move is called a neck breaker.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you. Take care.